Next up, I want to talk about grouping and aggregating data. So within the Transform tab of the query editor, you'll see this Group By option on the left, and this allows you to aggregate or roll up your data at different levels of granularity. So some common examples of this would be doing something like transforming daily transactions into weekly or monthly, or rolling up transaction level data by store, by product brand, by region, etc. So it's taking a really deep, really detailed table and rolling it up into a higher level summary. So let's take a quick look at an example. I know it's a little bit tough to see, but what we've got here are order quantities by order date, product key, and customer key. And the important thing to note here is that we have multiple orders for a given product key. In this case, product number 214 has been ordered multiple times on multiple dates by multiple different customers. And if you wanted to transform this table into a summary of orders, of order quantities, rolled up by unique product keys, the Group By option is a great way to do that. So when you click that Group By button, you'll see a dialog box that looks something like this, that basically allow you to tell Power BI, I'd like to group this table by unique product keys, and the operation that I'd like to evaluate for those product keys is the sum of the order quantity column. In other words, you're taking all of these duplicate rows with the same product key and multiple order quantities, and you're compressing them down to one. When you do that compression or that aggregation, how do we want to treat those order quantity values? In this case, we're taking a simple sum, and we're ending up with a table like this. 2 columns, one containing unique, distinct product keys, and the second containing the total quantity or the sum of order quantity values associated with each. So to recap, what we've done is essentially transform a daily transaction level table into a summary of total quantity rolled up by product keys. And important thing to note here, as you may have noticed, any fields that aren't specified in our Group By settings are lost. They're not preserved in that final table because we eliminated that level of granularity in the process. Now, one more example using the advanced option. Consider the same exact table that we started with. We're using the same Group By option, but this time looking at the advanced version. And really the only difference here between basic and advanced is that advanced allows you to specify multiple columns or additional columns to group by. So this time, instead of just grouping by product key, we're grouping by product key and customer key. And again, we're evaluating that same operation, the sum of the order quantity values, just like before. This time what we end up with is a 3-column table: product key, customer key, and total quantity. So to recap, we've again transformed that daily transaction level table now into a summary of total quantity aggregated by both product key and customer key. In other words, we're now looking at quantities by each unique combination of those two fields. So the best comparison that I can make, if you're an Excel user, this is just like creating a pivot table and pulling in the sum of order quantity into your values and your product key and customer fields into your row labels. So that's grouping and aggregating data in a nutshell. Let's actually work through an example or two in Power BI. So back in Power BI, I'm in my AdventureWorks report. Instead of adding new data, I'm going to edit my queries to jump into the query editor. Got my 4 connections, my 4 tables here. I'm going to dig into my AW Sales 2017 data, which contains daily sales records broken down by product keys, by customer keys, by territory keys. So this is a good candidate for using these grouping or aggregation tools. So just like our demo, let's go ahead and select the product key column. And let's say we want to turn this entire table, which contains multiple product keys and multiple instances of product keys, which we can see if we sort these. As you can see, multiple sales for product number 214, and so on and so forth for all of the other products in this table. There's a lot here, so we'll have to scroll quite a bit to get to them, but take my word for it. There are many, many more product IDs in here. So the idea is we want to take this table, collapse these rows with multiple product keys into essentially a summary table. And just like our example in the slide, let's evaluate the sum of order quantity for each of these product keys. So we can go ahead and transform, click group by. We're going to start with our basic option here, grouping by product key, the new column name, which is the column that contains the values that are getting aggregated or rolled up. We can call it whatever we want. Let's say total quantity, for example. And again, that operation, you have different statistical functions here, different aggregator functions. You could take the sum, you could average those order values, you could translate them all to a max or a min, you could count the rows. In this case, we want the sum, and we want the sum of that order quantity, and press OK. So just like our demo, this collapsed our data into a 2-column table with that new aggregated quantity field that we've named total quantity, and a unique list of product keys. And I can test that they're unique by sorting them. And as you can see, there's only one instance of each of those IDs with the associated total quantity. Now let's do one more example. I'm just going to get back and remove those applied steps. And I want to do one more group by example with the advanced options instead. So let's select product key again, group by, click the advanced button, and now we can add a second grouping here for whatever other field we want to pull into this summary table. So in this case, maybe customer, maybe territory. I'm going to choose customer key here because I want to see the total sales for every combination of product and customer. And again, my column name could be something like total quantity, and it will be the sum of the order quantity. Press OK. And there you go. Very, very similar process here. It's now collapsed my table into a 3-column table containing unique combinations of product key and customer key. So there you have it. Once again, let's go ahead and remove those steps. We don't need the sort by product key. And then in fact, if we don't even want to save anything that we've done in here, we don't even need to go to the close and apply button. We can simply close out of that query editor. So there you go, grouping and aggregating data.